spoke, I was going to stream and record a conversation, right?
I know, you're a fucking hypocrite. We know.
Okay. Making sure you understood that because like it's just really rude and just abusive, toxic really. The way that you treat me and others online. I'd like to have it recorded so that for posterity. So that way if you say no I'm not abusing you or anything like that, I can just be like, well the video shows you are. It's like for example, calling me a fucking hypocrite. Why are you calling me that? Like how does that like what are you calling me a hypocrite for? Okay. Um, well, I'll mute myself and I'll let you sit with that question. Unless you're gonna do that whole, oh hey, I'm back now, the whole pretend thing that you weren't actually listening. In which case, I'll just repeat myself. I'll just say the same exact thing and I'll ask you why you call me a fucking hypocrite again. Like you do this very often. It's not smart. It's the first time you do it, it's a fool shame on you because hey, you fooled me. But the second time you do it, it's kind of like, well, I'd be a fool to fall for it. So it'd be like, shame on me if I fell for it a second time. The third time you do it, I'd be your slave to it. So I don't fall for it a second time. That's why I'm still talking right now because I know you're still there, listening, just not talking ever. You just stay so quiet instead of answering the question of why are you calling me a hypocrite? Like you just joined in and said, "Hey, you fucking hypocrite," and you just accused me of that. And in the chat, I'll even ask you, why are you calling me that? And you go dead silent, say nothing. Until someone else tries to insult me or in any way. And then you jump in and say, hey, he's a fucking hypocrite. It's like, when you're mad at someone, try not to make it so obvious. Like, it's really obvious you're seething, molding, whatever term you want to call it. Like, you're very upset. And it's like, I would like to get to the bottom of this. Because it's not that I don't want you to be upset at me, because I don't really care. It'd be silly. I mean, what type of person would I be if I just went around trying to make sure everyone liked me? That'd be really sad. I don't really care if you like me or not. I'm just wondering why it is that every single chance you get, you have to try and attack me in the chat. Or right now, I made this party and the first thing you did was try and insult me. Why? It just doesn't make any sense. Do I go around insulting you? Or maybe it's because when I ask you a question and it makes you think and it makes you go, oh shit, maybe I shouldn't have believed the first thing that I said or heard. And then you like cement down on it and you're like, no, I cannot agree with this person. I could not be wrong about what I said. Therefore, he's a hypocritical cunt. Fuck him. Right? That's how it goes. If you don't agree or like what I said, you just insult me and then call me something derisive, derogatory, yada yada. I mean, this is what they did to you. I saw it for years. Them doing this to you, and it's just what's the word? The people who are abused in the past usually abuse others in the same way that they are abused in the past. So whenever you see a bully or someone like that, like insulting you or being derisive to you, just remember someone else was like that to them. That's why they're being like that to you because that's what they know. They expect it. Just like you. More than likely you expect me to be mean to you or rude to you or something like that, and then when I'm not, you call me a hypocritical cunt because it's like because I call people out for being for being rude, condescending, like abusive, toxic. That's what I call people out on. And you don't actually have anything for me that I've been a toxic or abusive to people. But if you did, you could show me. But you don't have anything, do you? Like, why are you calling me a hypocrite? I'll wait. just go back to the stream since you're not talking. So I tell you that I'm streaming and you respond, I know you're a fucking hypocrite. We know. It's very interesting you said we. Don't, it's just you and I in this party right now. Or at least as far as I know. I'm not looking at the TV right now. I was walking around the house doing things. And I thought to myself, while I'm walking around doing things, I thought to myself, well, since he's quiet and he's probably there, I says to myself, well, let's go back to the stream. Since it seems like the conversation's over, I can just right here and now go back to the stream. I inform you that I am streaming. I was going to stream and record a conversation, right? Ah, there it is. Yes, I says to you, hey, last time we spoke, I told you I would stream it. I would record it. More specifically, I would record it. That's what I said. Because, well, you're toxic, abusive. You're, and then when you're not trying to be toxic and abusive, it it comes off as toxic and abusive. It's like you can't help but say mean things, and you can change that. That's something you can change. All you got to do is just stop yourself from talking. That's the first part, and then listen to people who don't say abusive things. Once you listen to them and how they respond, then you can start repeating what they say and emulate them. That's how you can fix the shit that you got going. Because, dude, it's so toxic. It's so abusive. It's so dumb. Like, going back to the stream and record a conversation, right? I know you're a fucking hypocrite. At the beginning of the conversation, hey, last time we spoke, I told you I would stream it to record your abusive behavior. And your response is, I know you're a fucking hypocrite. What's a hypocrisy? It's like you're just saying a word. It's like you're calling me a flip flip. Like it's just a word. Ah, you flip flip. Of course you're a fucking flip flip. Like that's what you're saying. There's no meaning behind the words. I ask you what do you mean by hypocrite, and I get nothing. Just silence. Making sure you understood that because. So I ignore your comment because it was just rude, toxic. It was just like what the fuck's wrong with you type of comment. So I ignore it and I just remind you, like, hey, I'm just making sure you're aware. Like I'm trying to be polite here. It's just really rude and just abusive, toxic, really. Instead of, hey, you're being a dumbass, you're being a cunt, saying stuff like that. I'm doing the polite thing and I'm saying, hey, what you're saying is abusive and toxic. Instead of using the label of what you're doing, instead of saying you're being an asshole, instead of using the label, I'm instead explaining to you what the label means. So that way, That's funny. My controller was dead. Who knows how much I actually record? It's so sad. Just sad. But anyways, what I'm trying to say is, man, like I could have responded to you in many different ways. I could have said something like, "Oh, when you call me a fucking hypocrite," I could have done an ad hominem and been like, "You're only doing that because you're an idiot," or "You're only doing that because you have Asperger's or you have a mental disability," something like that. I could have done something like that. That's an ad hominem, complaining about the origin of what you're saying. I could have, what's it called? I could have done a tu quoque, where when you say you're a hypocrite, and then I respond with, "I'm not a hypocrite. You're the hypocrite." Like I could have done one of those, which is really funny. It's juvenile stuff. It's stuff kids do. That's fallacious arguments. I could have done a black and white fallacy and done something like, well, either I'm a hypocrite, or you're on here upset because you're just trolling. You're toxic, and this is just how you are, who you are. You're a malicious person, and that's why you're saying this. One or the other has to be true. See, that's a false dichotomy. It could be a third option where you could be confused about me. You could be saying the truth, and maybe I am a hypocrite about something, and you're just not telling me what it is I'm a hypocrite about. Lots of stuff you could have come up with. There's a myriad of things I could have said that would have been toxic, fallacious, equally abusive in some minor way. Nowhere near as bad as you, of course, because that. I mean, you didn't even say hello. Uh, hey man, hurricane with me. Yeah, things went okay. How about you? I know you're in Florida. You're in Florida too, so I hope things went well with you. Oh, nice. I got a Citadel. Like anything other than just instantly going into trying to insult someone. The moment you see them, it screams. I've been upset at you for a very long time, and the very first chance I get, I can't help but yell at you. It's just like, oof, like, dude, you gotta get over that anger, man. Like, what did I do to you for you to be this mad? I genuinely want to know because the only thing that I've heard from you so far has been that you got upset that I showed you up when you were talking about the AI thing. That's like something you still have never let go. And I don't get why. Like, you were wrong about the AI thing. You were claiming that, oh, AI is already exists, and I'm like, no, it doesn't. There's no sentient AI. And then you tried to use it as a categorical thing, which you fell for their word games because that's what it is. It's a lot of wordplay that they do with the um, they called it AI even though it wasn't AI. They just said the words AI in it without actually using it. It's again, it's calling something a name without actually having anything behind the words. So it'd be like me calling you a blah 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 after I told you that blah 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 means fucking asshole. If you know blah 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 means fucking asshole, and then you hear me go calling you a blah blah blah, and then you say, "Hey man, it's not okay for you to call me a blah blah blah," does it make any sense for me to then say, oh, blah 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 doesn't mean anything, bro? No, no, no. I've changed the definition of blah blah blah. So that's the same way that they trick you. They change the definition of words, and then you fall for it. Like, for example, hypocrite. What does the word hypocrite mean to you? Because I bet that it's a feeling for you. Like, you feel I'm a hypocrite, but where's the actual substantive reason for calling me that? Do, do you have any reason? Sorry about that. Sharing space, airspace is very hard. I also have to try to keep my voice down too. Gotta watch out for those Tennessee torpedoes. Can I Citadel of Tennessee from here? I think I can. Nope. In my store. Oh. One down for the sadness. Sadness, sadness. What are we gonna do, Slooch? What are we gonna do with you, man? I've tried communicating with you as openly as I can. Brutally honest, politely honest, generally honest. Tried being myself. Tried being like a robot to you. Tried reflecting back to you your behavior onto you. It's like absolutely nothing. I just don't get it, man. I have to at this point conclude that you enjoy getting harassed and bullied by those people. Because you enjoy harassing and bullying people like that as well. That's the only thing I have to conclude. I can't think of anything else. Everything else doesn't make sense to me. Uh, uh, Siddhartha, like he explained that people are in their own personal hell that they make for themselves, and it's up to you to make the choice to recognize what you're doing to put yourself there. It's not a I don't know. It's just like all that all that hating Christianity. Did it help you? Did hating did hating me help you? Does does hating anyone ever help you? That's just that's one of the things that Siddhartha was trying to teach people. It's like there's a cup of poison on the table there. You want me to ingest the poison. You want me to get poisoned, so you start drinking it. That cup is hatred. You drink the poison. It doesn't make me die. It hurts you. Something you need to learn, man. Hating someone else, that it's going to get it's toxic for you. It's not for them. Getting upset at me does what? What does it do? Did it did it get me to stop talking? Did it undo the things that I've said? The true things that I've said? Ah, see now, I have a friend play, um, what's it called? Ah, warships. I keep trying to call it wargaming. Trying to play warships with me. So look at the options I have. I have either the option to keep talking to myself, because I have no idea even if you're there, which because you do that stupid game where you're like, oh, I'm sorry, I wasn't listening, I wasn't here. Because I know it's a game, because right after I just repeat myself. Because for some reason after you say, I guess you don't think I was gonna just repeat myself. It's really weird to do that. To say, oh hey, I'm back. It's just so weird to me. But I mean, if this is what you want, you just want to listen to me talk, and you didn't want to talk, then I mean, I guess you got what you wanted. I wanted to hear from you to know why you call me a hypocrite. It's just at the start of this. How long is this? Give me a second. 1 hour, man. An hour. An hour. Oh, an hour. Oh my goodness. I just don't get it. I personally just it baffles me. I would like to understand it. Write a freaking dissertation on this. Write my thesis. Just pretty much copy over Seneca's book. He already got anger patted down. He explains it like a oh fuck! I got insted. The California spotted me ever so slightly. He just said, "Oh, there you are." All right, I got a 1-for-1 at least. It's too bad our destroyer died, but the Fubuki is really low. He was outside of my range the whole time. I would have stayed on this side had... See, I wanted to stay over here. This is where I wanted to stay. But I really wanted to shoot the Fubuki. And the Fubuki's hiding on that side of the island. So because I got greedy, I kept moving forward, and then eventually the California spotted me. I already knew that I was making a risky play and that it could lead to my death, and then it led to my death. Mea culpa. So there, it would make no sense for me to go, look at my allies sitting behind the island. They're not shooting at the California. Like I hear so many people do, and it's really funny to me whenever I hear them do that. We're actually in a really good position to win right now because this guy's suiciding. Oh, he stopped the torp. Yeah, we're definitely going to win this. As long as he doesn't kill either ship, because they can just will to rebuild if they have it. Oh, it's a lot of ifs. They can just will to rebuild as long as they don't get sideways. They are golden. Yeah, he definitely has will to rebuild because that health. Oh, does he? It looks like it's going up. Yeah, he's got will. He's got will, or he's healing, one or the other. And then the New Mexico, I don't see that doing any damage at all. So I'm guessing the New Mexico it does have will as well. This heal looks like it's a heal and a will. I mean, just a will. Because if it would have been the heal, he would have been chunking up. I'm thinking this, we're poised. As long as they just stop here, just stop and wait for that California to put it. Oh no! Oh, Warspite's so strong. Let's see the angle it's in. Oh yeah, we're gonna win this one. California's getting broadside. It wants to shoot its cannons. Come on, you know you want to. You know you want to. No. Warspite, what are you doing? Don't angle more. Oh, he good. He good. It doesn't mean nothing. Wait, no, it doesn't mean anything. This California is it's raiding the base though. Yes. Yeah, keep missing, Cali. Oof. A New Mexico with a high cal. My goodness. The witnessing. Oh, California's still trying to go for the Warspite. And the bounces. Oh, California's got a terrible game right now. It has to kill the Warspite and then ram the New Mexico. No, because if it rams, it has to stop its engines. What can the California do to win? This is the other side of Art of War, is looking at the enemy and trying to think, what can he do to win right now? He's not doing what he needs to do to win. Now he's splitting his damage. Warspite is healed back. Yeah. I'm going to be surprised if this is a loss. But yeah, Slooch, like, Let me see, because that's. I mean, you have to understand that. Uh, Here's Aesop fables, for example. Anyway, going back to Aesop's fables here. Oh my gosh. Little Aesop kept harassing people by trolling them. He kept playing pranks on them. He didn't see what was wrong with him, including when his mom pulled his pants down and spanks him. Even physically, even the physical act of hitting him did not make him see the connection between his behavior and him getting hit. Instead, he said, they're all being mean to me. So, oh, what else did he say? He said, they don't understand. They're all being mean to me. It's fun. It's funny. And plus, I'm not doing anything wrong with doing these things. So, little Aesop um, decided, I know what I'll do. They're terrified of wolves. I'm gonna tell everyone that I see a wolf, because that was his job, to keep watch for wolves. So he thought it'd be really funny if he told people that he the wolf. And there's no wolf. He lied. People believed him. They ran out. Villagers. One of them huffed and puffed, almost died. An old man. Other people destabilized their home because he was in the middle of doing something. Yada yada. It hurts people in the community, and it causes people to get upset at him. It made him a target. So then he cries out, "Wolf, wolf!" Remember, shame on you. The first time you try to fool everyone. Then the second time that they tried to get fool that he tried to fool them, they didn't wanna. They were like, "Well, he learned his lesson. I trust him. I trust that he learned his lesson. He's not gonna do it again." So then, when he calls Wolf the second time, the villagers all run out, huffing and puffing. Same problems again. There was no wolf. He's laughing at them. The villagers aren't gonna hit a kid. They're not gonna beat the crap out of him. For one thing, they can't catch him. And another, they're not gonna bring themselves down to kill a kid just because he's hurting the city. They're not gonna, demoralize themselves for that. So eventually, the kid, of course, he's not kept in check. The mom tried hitting him. He's not listening. He doesn't listen to reason. He's not seeing the effects of his actions. He doesn't give a damn. So then he keeps doing it. Until eventually, wolf, wolf, the little Aesop cries, and this time there is a wolf. See, he's done it so many times that the people who he's done it to, they're like, why in the fuck would we trust this bullshitter? We've seen what he does in the past, what he's done in the past. We have memory of it. We have memory of when he's done this to us after we trusted him. That's the second shame on me. That's shame. Fool me once, shame on, shame on, shame on you. Fool me twice, can't get fooled again. No, fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Fool me thrice, pay the price. You're you become a slave. You're gonna keep getting fooled over and over again. Um, little Aesop didn't make it, by the way, in the story. He he's running through the town, and even though they hear snarling, they hear hoofs behind him. They just assume he's just trying to trick us again. No matter how sincere he is, when he actually means to be sincere, no one is there to believe him because he was lying the whole time previously. He was being manipulative. He was being abusive. And so when he is genuinely saying, "Wolf, wolf," there's no one there to believe him. Wolf chases him around the whole village. Eventually, he chases him into the forest. He was knocking on people's doors too, banging on them, pleading them for his life. But they didn't believe him because he's done this shit to them before. and laughing at them. He's like, ha ha, nothing's wrong here. Chased into the forests to be eaten by the wolves. There's also the shorter story of there's a kid, which is another name for a goat, on top of a roof, and they love being on high places. So there's a kid on top of a roof, and he's like meh meh, and he's just yelling obscenities at this wolf that's laying down in the pasture. He's just like buying at him, telling him he's a murderer, a rapist, he's a scoundrel. He calls him a fucking hypocrite. He he says that he is the most vile thing in the world. He just keeps ranting on and on and on. And then the wolf just lays there. And then the wolf lifts his head up and just says, "You're only shouting those things because you're up there on your shed. Come down here. Shout those things in front of me." Yeah, exactly. You shout those things from fear because you know that you're anonymous. It's like Aesop, who knows that he can get away with it. That's why you're abusive. You know nothing's going to happen to you because you think that nothing happened to those people who were abusive to you. And that's okay. You can do that. But I want you to think about this. What benefit has come to you from being abusive, and now realize that those same benefits came to them who were abusive to you? The only thing you get from being abusive to others is making yourself feel better. And if you keep stroking yourself, eventually, in the big orgy that is life, you're going to be the only one left there because you're not stroking anyone else. If you don't stroke anyone else, they're not going to want to be near you because they're like, well, he just strokes himself. Why would we want to be near him? You got to help other people come, bro. You can't just, how do I say this? To put it crudely, you can't just think of yourself. You can't just go around doing self-satisfactory things because you feel like it. This goes to the Pinocchio scene where he goes to Pleasure Island and you see the kids just wrecking the clocks, drinking beer, smoking cigars, stuff like that, breaking stuff at their will and pleasure, stealing from one another, just a whole Lord of Flies situation there. Um, and they don't care about their actions and their behavior, how it affects others, until they turn into donkeys, a jackass, who thinks only of themselves, yee-haw, hee-haw, like very stubborn, impossible to move. Um, that's another external point of view, stereotyping the behaviors, like calling sharks like really aggressive and tigers aggressive, even though sharks are actually not that aggressive type of thing. It, donkeys are obviously not like that, but for the story and in the context of the 1940s, what they were trying to explain, this is how it fits. It's essentially explained to someone: one, you think only of yourself; two, you take actions that you think benefit you yet cause harm to others; and three, those actions leave you alone in the end. Those are the signs of a jackass. It's You don't want to surround yourself with people who act that way because you're gonna end up like them. Again, Pinocchio. If you behave like the people on Pleasure Island, you're gonna turn into like one of the donkeys on Pleasure Island. He, if you give into all the debauchery and all the hatred that all those kids around you are doing, you too are gonna turn into the same thing that they turn into. It's a very simple metaphor for adults to understand, but when you're a kid, this stuff has to sit in you. It has to be repeated over and over again for you to get it. And if you never get that lesson taught when you're young, by the time you're older, if you've been taught the opposite lesson, that doing whatever you feel is good for you or whatever you want is what benefits you, then that lesson is really hard to undo. It's it's just toxic in general. Very, very toxic to yourself and to others. I don't understand why I do it. Um,
especially after it's been pointed out. And that's what Aristotle was talking about, where he doesn't understand. He was asking a question of what was worse, the person who knows that they're doing something wrong and keeps doing it, or the person who can't understand that what they're doing is wrong and yet they keep doing it. It's like you, I don't know if you know that just joining in a party and calling someone a fucking hypocrite and then just going flat silent. I don't know if you know that's wrong. Or maybe you know that that's wrong. And something inside you does tell you, hey, maybe I shouldn't be doing this. But that's why I'm doing it. Because he deserves it. Because your anger, your hatred feeds into that. I don't know if you've ever heard of the trolley problem, but it's you got someone who's tied to railroad tracks on one end, and on the other side of the railroad tracks, there's people there, innocent people who are just ignorant. They don't know what's going on. They're just construction workers, um, and there's a switch, and there's a train coming, and the train is on its way to hit the person on the who's tied up. Now you have the option of flipping the switch and saving them, but the problem is that that would then endanger the people who are working on the railroad tracks. You potentially you're killing them at the expense of that person. And most people would answer, no, no, I wouldn't pull the thing because then I'd be killing them. There's four people there. There's just one person on railroad tracks. A lot of people would say yes, I would save the person on the railroad tracks because they would be grateful. The people who aren't on the railroad tracks, they can get out of the way, type of thing. There's a lot of people who make rationalizations for themselves, and that's fine. But the thing is, though, if if you think that it is moral to save the person on the railroad tracks, and it is amoral, in turn, killing the other people, then if you hate someone, then you can switch that over. Suddenly, to you, if you hate the person that's tied up, to you it would be moral to kill them because you're the one who's deciding. This is when people say like you're not God. It's like you don't get to decide, that type of thing. It's like when you are the arbiter of your own morality, that's ethics. That's not morals. If you're the one who's deciding when someone lives or dies, you're not leaving it up to a god. You're not being objective. You're subjectively deciding those things. It's up to you. How you feel is how you decide things. So in this case, if for me, if let's pretend I hated you. Let's say you did something to me and I was fuming mad at you and I hated you, and you were on fire and I had a bottle of water. I don't know if you've heard this one before. Even if I had a bottle of water, I wouldn't throw it on you. I'd throw it on the ground. I would let you burn. Like that's called hatred. Like me, if I hated you, if you did something to me and I saw you on fire, I would put you out and then probably like do whatever it is that I originally wanted to do. Because if I hate you, I'm going to do something. Was I the one who set you on fire because I hated you? No, I'm joking. Uh, like it just doesn't make any sense to hate someone because you're letting them control you twice. First time you let them control you when they did whatever action that it was to get you to no longer be your life. So now you're thinking of them. So that's the first time they've harmed you. The second time they've harmed you is when you decide to take actions against them. Twice they've hurt you. The third time they hurt you is when you face consequences for your own actions. 3 times that person has hurt you. And that person's you, bro. Because hate is self-involved. It's a feedback loop. Oh, movie Saw does a really good job at expressing this, where the guy from Saw, a man accidentally kills his baby, and he can't decide if it's okay or not to kill him. So instead, he sets up a scenario so that the man has every opportunity to, how do I say this? To get away, to live. Is he actually a malicious person, or does he deserve death? If he deserves death, he should kill himself. If he doesn't deserve death, then I should help him so he can help other people see this. That's the whole premise in Saw. And then the guy who killed his wife's baby, who was in it just for drugs, he gives him the opportunity to just leave, to walk away. And instead he tries to kill the Jigsaw. And so when he tries to do that, he jumps into a trap and it gets himself killed. He leapt into his own death in hatred. It's really hard for me to see that as a bad thing. It's like, imagine I'm on one side of a cliff and you're on the other side of a cliff, and it's a gorge between us, and you hate me so much that you jump trying to stab me, even though there's no possible way you could make it. Like, I would just feel sad. I wouldn't be mad. I would just be like, oh my god, hated me that much? Damn, that's so sad. It's what Seneca describes. It's the dog who's chasing a bird, and he jumps a cliff trying to bite the bird and falls to his death. It's the bald man and the fly who hits himself in the forehead to kill the fly and misses, and then the fly laughs, and then the man says, any pain is worth it as long as I get rid of you. It's like, when you hate someone and you put the messages out to hurt them, when you're like, fuck you, when you just say things to someone like you're a fliffer, there's nothing behind it, it's just emotion. It's not like calling someone, like, like, what's his face, Matt, calling me a pedagogue. Am I a pedagogue? Probably. I don't know. Let's find out. Let's find out what pedagogue. Because the problem is I can't ask him, hey, what do you mean by pedagogue? Why are you calling me a pedagogue? He would just say it. It's like, oh, a teacher, especially a strict or a pedantic one. And it's like, okay, so I'm a strict and pedantic teacher. Okay, yeah, I'll take it. One of the things that Marcus Aurelius said was, if someone insults you, like, it's obvious that, what's it called, Matt's trying to be rude, trying to be mean to me, trying to make me feel bad by calling me a pedagogue and stuff like that. It's obvious that that's what he's trying to do, but if it's true, why would it upset me? It should only upset me if it's true and I'm not doing anything about it, and I keep doing it, and it's hurting me and I don't care. That's when I would get upset, right? Because I'm trying to protect my ego. But he's calling me a strict teacher. How can I say no to that? It's like, okay, thank you for the compliment. He might not see it as a compliment. It's like when someone is like, oh, you're just a clean freak. And it's like, a clean freak? So you're saying that I'm cleanly. Well, thank you very much for calling me a clean freak. And you move on with your life. That person is drinking poison. They're trying to get you upset like them. It goes back to the mountain thing, the building thing I was telling you about. You got a tall building, and then you look at someone else's tall building, and their building is taller. And now you could add floors to your building, or demolish theirs, and now you have the tallest building. That's hatred. No, I'm sorry. Trying to demolish someone else's building. And then this is a third step, which explains the hatred part. Then you start taking bricks out of your building and lobbing it at mine, trying to take down my building. Now, if my structure is sound, there's not a single brick that you're gonna throw at me that's gonna land. Now, let's say one of your bricks is, like Matt said, a pedagogue, right? So let's say he calls me a pedagogue, and that's one of his bricks from his house. He throws it, and boom. If it's true, then I can now thank him as that brick falls right into place and now makes my structure even more sound. It's like if I'm trying to tell someone that they are going back to the clean freak one. If I tell someone, hey, the your workspace is a mess. Um, Use this cleaning spray. That way, it's easy for you to clean it. And the person says, "Ah, you're such a clean freak," right? The person is their ego is in the way. They see that yes, they are messy, and rather than recognizing, hey, this person's trying to help me, they're just getting upset at it, and they decide, hey, I'm gonna insult you. I'm gonna call you a name. It's like, all right, so you've called me a name. Your workspace is still a mess. My workspace is not a mess. And it turns out that name you just called me, it applies. I'll take it. Thank you very much for cementing the fact that I am clean, you are not clean. You should probably, fix that. As for the pedagogue thing, sure. Call me a strict teacher. I don't mind. I'm trying to teach you something, and I'm not falling into the habit of like, what's it called? Insulting or using derisive comments onto you. That fits the role of the teacher. I'm not being a bad teacher. I'm being a strict one. It means that you are not being a good student. It's not on me, it's on you. Someone says you're a clean freak, it's not on you. Oh, you're too clean. No, it's on them that they're messy or they're dirty. It's like that. Calling someone names only works if they fall for it. So if you throw your brick and I get mad and I start trying to throw my own bricks, take my own bricks off to throw them at you, and I demolish my own building, yeah, good job. You worked. It worked. But if you're trying to demolish my building and you just keep lobbing bricks and bricks and bricks, eventually you're gonna turn around and you're gonna notice there's no bricks behind you. You're just gonna be throwing nothing. You're gonna be throwing pebbles and throwing the dirt around you until eventually you dig a hole for yourself. And then you're so far deep into this hole that you're on the other side of the planet yelling at me saying, "Ha, I have the biggest building. Look at how tall it is," and you got pebbles on your side. While I'm on my side with an actual building. Like delusional is the only word that I can describe that as. That's hatred. It's closing your eyes and swinging your sword in anger, just trying as hard as you can to chop in front of you, not noticing that the damage your opponent has been inflicting on you, that was you hitting yourself. You close your eyes, you're swinging your sword, and my opponent has struck my legs. The bastard! So you go in for a death throw, and you lunge yourself forward, not realizing that you were the one who hurt yourself. Your opponent was behind you the whole time, and they're just standing there staring at you with their sword like away, because they're not even fighting. You've been fighting yourself. That's hatred. It's showing up to a race, talking so much shit that you don't even hear the gun go off. Then the other person has a trophy in their hand, and you're saying that they have your trophy, that you stole it from them. It's hatred is so self-delusional, and yet, where does it get you? It gets you feeling accomplished. It gets you feeling good about yourself for a moment. For a moment, it's like a drug, because it only makes you feel good until someone points out, what you're actually doing. In which case, whoa, that feels bad to be pointed out what I'm actually doing. My self-delusional bubble, the ego that I have, I need to pop that shit. That's why a lot of people get the ayahuasca. Yeah, I think it's called ayahuasca. They get that, then it forces them to like sit with themselves and to recognize, even quote unquote talk with themselves. It forces them to meditate for the first time in their fucking lives. So then they go, shit, maybe I'm not as good a person as I thought I was. And then they become better people. This is why Joe Rogan like signs off on it, because he's a terrible person. And then people like imitate him, thinking, oh, he's a great person. Look at how successful he is. People imitate Trump until eventually they're gonna have to wake up. Eventually, maybe their actions and their behavior it just doesn't happen fast enough. That's the only problem. was watching a video on the Mexican brothers. Very good video. It explains his behavior really well. Of people who just like they're not thinking. They're just doing whatever the hell they feel. It's so weird. I mean, at one point, seriously, like, if I ever called you names or something like that, like, I apologize for that, man. Uh, I hope that anytime I've said a name to you or anything like that, that I've explained what it is that I mean by it. That it's not just me name calling you. Like, I say things like you're being an asshole because you're being rude. I don't say you're being an asshole because I'm upset at you. I'm saying that because I would like for you to stop the behavior you're doing. And I understand that, hey, I should not be calling you an asshole. That's why I'm apologizing. I should instead be saying, hey, the thing you're just doing is rude, the thing you're doing is toxic, that type of thing. I should be describing it, not telling you. You know, I apologize for that. Sun Tzu says, a captain who wins makes many calculations. Captain who loses makes few calculations. Hopefully these overpen, hopefully these overpen, hopefully these overpen, hopefully these overpen. They didn't overpen. Alright, I've successfully wasted the time of the destroyer by making him think I was headed towards him. Have I successfully survived, though? That's the bigger question. Yes, I know bullseye, but... No, please. Please, Suzuki. Let me talk about this. I have reduced engine power. I don't know how to dodge torpedoes while I'm in the wall here. Oh... No, 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 no. No, 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 no. That Fubuki. Proper progress. Good job. Hikari. Oh, I think I lost this one. Reason why I think I lost it. What's he doing in the Mahan? I also got Citadel. The fuck. Took a very risky shot coming over here. Let's see. If I spawned over here, enemy came that way. I mean, the obvious thing would have been for me to hightail it in that direction. I think I should have looked at this, seen that there was a Leander and a Fubuki, and recognized the best thing to do would have been to push straight on. Because then I would have been able to kill the... Yep, the Leander there. I would have been able to push him back with my sonar? Radar? Sonar, yeah, sonar. With my sonar, I would have been able to spot the torps. Would have been in a wall, which the wall is really what fucked me over. Because I shut off my engines, and I was like, do I shut off my engines here? Like, I don't know. I've never dodged torps up against the wall. Okay, chances are looking much better. Mahan, he ran in this direction, I'm thinking to get away from the cruiser so he could shoot the Fubuki, but the Fubuki suicided there. That's good for us. We were not supposed to get that Fubuki. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and mute myself again. Still waiting for hearing how I'm a hypocrite though. Let me know.
All right, I'm back. I'm gonna head over to the bathroom and then I'll start playing again. Oh boy.
Alright, got myself a good theremin trees video. Got some pork grinds. Pork grinds with my favorite seasoning. I put some black pepper, a little salt, onion powder, paprika. Mixed it all up in a cup. I can eat my pork grinds with it. Got some World of Warships in front of me. And I have a 3-hour stream of dead silence because Slooch decided he wasn't going to talk. It's like, okay. But make do with what we got, which is warships, chicharrones, and degrading love. I'll tell you, I got a serious problem because I will grab pure black pepper and put it right into my mouth, like those black pepper packets. Just, I will chew on that while I eat a burger. Chew on anything. Stop giving me those pepper packets. I used to put it in my ketchup too. Hey, everywhere. If I can mute myself. Let's see what the video says. You have nothing to teach me about love. If the book from which you take your definition demands... Wait, you have nothing to teach me about love if the book from which you take your definition demands, glorifies, or in any other way promotes subjugation, suffering, shunning, or scapegoat sacrifice. To call this brand of degradation masochism seems unjust. The discerning masochist has the wisdom to use safe words. Oh, such a true statement right there. There's no safe word when you got someone who's degrading you. There's no, hey man, I'm doing this because I'm trying to degrade you. There's just they're trying to degrade you. They're never gonna admit to it. Why would they ever admit to doing abusive in any way? Oh no, I'm being attacked by the chips fiend. Alright, I've been de-chipped. 3 chips for the chip queen. What?
I got a piece that had something like in the middle of it. It's like cool. What was that? What is that?
It's fat.
Oh my gosh, I did not like that.
If you get certain pieces like the, you can see them. You can tell which ones those are.
Yeah.
I don't like them. I know, it's weird, isn't it? That's why I like the really puffy, fluffy ones. Wife just ate a chicharrón and it was one of the hard ones that have a little bit of fat on them. So it's a little moist, if you would. See if I can find one. Ooh, yeah, I found one. It's a little moist. Love pork rinds. Used to drive an ambulance and this guy who was Muslim, and I mean Muslim though, the real Muslim, the one who like does the prayer and stuff, not the Not the one who just says, "Hey, I'm Muslim." No, no, no. I mean the one who actually follows the religion. He I didn't know that about him. And one time we were working together, and I bought pork rinds, and I'm like, "Oh, I love pork rinds." The moment he smells, like, "Oh, it smells disgusting." I'm like, "What? They're pork rinds? You've never had them before?" And he's like, "What? No, that's disgusting." I'm like, "Wait, but they're pork rinds. I mean, that I'm Puerto Rican. That's huge. Pork is it's everything over there." And he's like, "No, it's immoral." And I was like, "Oh, eating pork is immoral? I mean, by that you're saying that I'm immoral. I'm immoral for eating pork." Well, he's like pretty much telling me that I'm trash to my face, using his religion to say it. And I was like, "Oh, I don't think I'm immoral, but I guess to each their own." I'm, I'll close my bag of pork rinds, and I closed it. And then I asked him, "So why is eating pork immoral?" And he says, "It just is." Just because it's impure. It's what he said. Those were his words. It's impure. So then I think I asked him something like, "Is beef pure? Like, can I eat beef jerky?" And he's like, "Yeah, there's nothing wrong with eating beef." And he gave um, some text in the Quran that was pointed to saying, "Hey, it's good to eat beef." But when I asked him why he shouldn't eat pork rinds, this is the skin on pork. Take a. They should do chicken grinds, chicken skins. I'd totally eat that. Ask him about, you know, pork skin. And he's like, "No, it's impure." Like, would you ever do it? Well, he wouldn't. Would not eat pork rinds. It's really weird to me to not try a food because your religion said so. I mean, if people actually did that, oof. Hmm. Talking to someone right now online, acts just like you, Slooch, and Matt. It's like this fucking disease that people have where when they're upset or mad, they cannot answer the question. Like you just completely shut off. You just don't even talk. But there's other people who think that by saying other things that it'll get the same achievement as you think you will by not talking. See, by not talking, you think the question goes away. They think that by giving a response to a question that they were never asked, that will make the question that they were asked go away. So if I ask, "Did you get your report card today?" and you respond, uh, "The teacher handed them out." So then I say, "Can I see it?" I'm assuming that you're saying that you hand that out because you got yours. But then you say, "I didn't," and then I ask you, "Can I see it?" And then you say, "The report card was good." It's it's deflective. You're trying to answer the question without answering it. You're trying to trick people. It's very rude, very toxic. I'm talking to someone who's doing the exact same fucking thing. Because it's not a, Oh man. Oh man. Sat in silence there for a bit. I was responding to someone who is just, oh man, just atrocious. You're telling them pretty much the same stuff as I tell you guys. Like, attacking me isn't gonna help you out. Attacking me is just like, what are you doing? Yeah, you're asking me questions in order to attack me. I answer his questions, and then he ignores my response in order to just repeat the same attack over again. At this point, I told him, he wrote down, I responded to your cheek with cheekiness of my own. I stand my ground, so you chose the wrong person to argue with today. First of all, he thinks I'm arguing with him, which all I've been doing is saying, you're writing dumb things, without saying the word dumb. I'm just telling him what he's writing. Like right now, how he just wrote that. I wrote up, you chose the wrong person to mess with, and then I put asterisk, rolls sleeves up. It's just like, what are you doing? What do you mean I chose the wrong person to mess with? Like, I'm not messing with you. That's the first part. And on top of that, he's saying that I gave him cheek because I called him an average student. He wrote, don't tell me anything about being condescending when you were the one calling me an average student. So I told him, wah, you didn't say I was special. This guy's crying that I didn't call him, that I called him an average student. Oh, okay. Okay, so he's upset I called him an average student, so I'm gonna ask him. Okay, wait. So you're upset I called you an average student. What would you have preferred I call you? Good day, sir. I love it when people who are really upset tell you to have a good day. They tell you to have a good life. They tell you something like, I hope nothing happens to your property. It's like, how obvious, how it depends on how obvious they want to make it. Some people are really, really fucking just atrocious at this. Like they'll just make it as obvious as possible, and if you point it out to them, it's like, whoa, I wasn't doing that. It's like if you tell someone, I'm gonna slit your throat and burn your body and dig a grave in the backyard for you, and then you tell them, dude, that's really toxic. Whoa, bro, I was just joking. You couldn't tell I was just kidding. It's like, well, you have a hatchet in your hand. It's really hard to tell. So, so when someone says, good day to you, like after they've been telling you how horrible you are and how much they want ill to come to you, and then suddenly to say that, have a good day, that's the story of the starter right there. It's it's someone who genuinely thinks that the person they're talking to is just gonna forget. Just, oh, wait a minute. You weren't being rude to me before. You weren't telling me to go kill myself earlier. You're probably, when you say to have a nice day and you're saying all these nice things, you probably mean them in a nice way. Yeah. That's what's happening. When when you say have a good day, you actually mean to. It's like when prophecy tells people. It's so funny. He tells people, bless bless you, right after he tells them that they are, what's some of the shit that he says? Just the stuff that he says is so nonsensical, and the problem with a lot of these people, including yourself, Slooch, it's that you ask them, why are you saying this? Why are you doing this? What do you mean by what you're saying? What do you get out of this? How was I supposed to understand that from what you said? Um, Ask them, why do you believe what you just said? What makes you think that what you just said is true? Where are you getting this information from? Any of those questions. Any of those questions. And the person will deflect. They will move away from the question. They will not answer it. It's too difficult for them to come to terms with the fact that they cannot answer a question. So they have several options. One, stay quiet, which is what you do. Two, to talk about something else, to try and change the subject. That's deflecting. Either they'll try to attack the person who they're talking to, change the subject by saying, oh, you do it too, or you've done it in the past. They'll try to attack themselves, saying, well, that's just because I'm an asshole. Excuse it. They will also deflect it entirely by bringing up something else entirely. Like if you call someone, hey, you're being a jerk right now. You're getting in front of the TV. So instead, that person says, you're a fucking asshole. Like, in order for you to stop saying that they're a jerk in front of the TV, so now you get to complain that they're calling you a fucking asshole. Hey, that's something different. They're no longer being accused of standing in front of the TV. Now they're being accused of being fucking assholes. And hey, wait a minute. This person said the words fucking asshole, and if I isolate that and I just focus on those words alone, then that means that that person is upset because they cursed at me and they said an insult. So because someone cursed at me and said an insult, it means that they must be upset. And it's like this mindset that slowly goes further and further into the well, until the person just tells themselves, they aren't justified in being upset. I am. I should be upset at them for them calling me a fucking jerk. And it's like, the people that do this, they're just so fucking dumb. They just don't realize that they're creating their own issues. They're getting upset at other people who are upset at them for the things that they do. It's mind-boggling. It's astonishing. It's like, how can you be mad at me for pointing out the shit you're doing? Shouldn't you be mad at yourself for doing the shit? That way, you stop doing it, and then no one can point it out anymore. That would be the logic. But that's not the logic you take. The logic you take is, no one can stop me. And that's it. That's where it stops. You don't realize that that's because no one can stop you but yourself. This isn't something that anyone can stop. Like, look at, for example, if you were going around telling people that you were going to kill them, right? No one can stop you from doing that. Putting you in jail for trying to tell people that you were going to kill them, that's not going to stop you. That's what Alex Jones thinks. It's like, nothing is going to stop that man from lying and being abusive and manipulative. Absolutely nothing. Because even if he goes to jail, guess what he's going to do from jail? The same thing. It's a choice. It's a choice you have to make yourself. Do you want to be an asshole? Yes or no? I would think not. Most people don't want to be assholes. So they just paint a fantasy. They tell themselves, I'm not an asshole. They are the assholes for calling me an asshole. So it's like, so when do you ever face the fact that you're an asshole? Like, if you think everyone who calls you an asshole is an asshole, then how do you ever listen to the people who are telling you the truth? So no one is ever telling you the truth. Everyone in the world is deluded, and you're not an asshole. Really? That's strange. What about the reasons why people say that? How about, like, you joining a party, Slooch, and saying you're a fucking hypocrite, insulting me for no fucking reason. Just entered here and said that. I hadn't spoken to you in a long ass time. Like, out of fucking nowhere to just say that? Like, you went out of your way. You joined this. You said that. And on top of that, you're still here. You're still here. It's going to be one of those really long game. Oh, I wasn't actually here. I was gone. Uh, you've been talking to yourself this whole time? Oh my god. It's like, yeah, man. I have been. Where have you been? Let's have this conversation some other time. Now that you're back, let's talk. Oh, I can't talk right now. I gotta go. I got things to do. It's like, that's cool, man. I'll probably be here maybe tomorrow. Maybe be here the day after that. I mean, how many times can you say, oh, I wasn't here? How many times can you use that excuse? It's the boy who cried wolf, man. How many times can you cry wolf until I go, uh-huh. Where's the wolf? I mean, eventually you will come back. Just like eventually Matt has to face the bullshit he talks. Eventually one of those things is gonna happen. You know, anyways, I got a phone call from my family in Puerto Rico. Oh man, that was my aunt. She was asking how I was after the hurricane and stuff. Good people. Shit. This Bayern is eating me. Shut off engines, shut off engines. Shit, I don't think I shut them off in time. Nope. As soon as I saw the shells come up in the air, I was like, oh, he's been scattering his shots. That's by the way how you beat cruisers when you're close enough in range. scatter your shots. Don't shoot them all at the same time because they can just dodge it. Fire the first two or one salvo, watch him dodge, you lose all his speed. Then you fire the rest of your cannons because, as you saw, like there was nothing I could do. I was at 16 knots trying to accelerate so I can get back up to speed so I can do a dodge, but no. He got me in the middle of that with 2 shells. Vile. Yeah, I talk to a lot of people that choose to get angry and use hate. They'd rather get upset at others rather than just play a game, live life, read a message, respond to comment. It's like if you walk into a bar and you do something and someone walks up to you and says, "Hey, what you just did is fucked up. Stop it." You got a few options. You can either just walk away from the person, go to another bar and do the exact same shit and hope nobody points it out at that bar. You just keep bar hopping until eventually you find the bar that doesn't care when you jump on the table and kick people's drinks out of their hands, for example. Bar doesn't care about that. You could go to a bar that doesn't care if you talk shit about the customers and the patrons behind people's backs, and they don't care if you talk shit about the bar itself. It's Always Sunny in Philly. Their bar is probably like that. They're not going to kick you out. They need the business, right? Just look for another bar. But then you're not at that bar. And that person who just commented on you, you have no idea that guy could have been the coolest guy ever, and he could be buying you drinks. You could have had a really good night with that guy. And instead you ran off to another bar. So there's that option. Just run away and ignore what you did. Try to excuse it. Say, hey, what I did is it's justified. It's okay if I do it. I'm allowed to. You can just keep doing it over and over and over again. Going back to Alex Jones, just bar hopping. Went from YouTube to, I think he tried Twitter and stuff and Instagram. Eventually made his own bar, essentially. Infowars.com. Trump did the same thing. The Twitter bar wouldn't accept the bullshit he was doing, so then he tried to open up his own bar. But at his bar, he barely pays attention to the customers, and he's constantly talking about how he misses being at Twitter, without saying the words "I miss being at Twitter." He's constantly talking about them, pining over them and stuff, stuff like that. So you could open up your own bar. Start your own conversation after someone says something. But again, you're not at that bar. You're not talking with that person. So those options aside, starting your own bar or moving to someone else's bar, you could do those. That is to say, you could stay quiet or start your own conversation. Then there's the other option of getting upset at them and trying to gaslight them. Like someone you've never met before, you jumped on a table, kicked someone's drink out of their hand, stole someone else's drink, started drinking it, started lying about different customers, did a bunch of bullshit. That person walks up to you and says, "Hey, I don't like what you're doing in here, get out." And then you tell that person, "Everyone in here does it. You do it too." And then the bar owner is going to do what? They're going to fucking kick you out. They're going to say, "No, why are you lying about me? Now you're lying about me to my face? Get the fuck out." That's gaslighting. You can't gaslight people who aren't as dumb as you. It's never going to work. It's impossible. Like, I hear Matt trying to gaslight me, but he talks like this, man. It's very slow. So that gives me a lot of time to think about what he's saying, and I'm like, okay. Oh, so you're saying this sentence, and you're finishing it off with those words. And if I were to try and imitate him and try and talk back to him in this way, he will say that I'm condescending and that I'm being rude to him, even though I'm trying to talk to him in his tone. Like, I'm trying to emulate him, because if this is how the speed that he's okay with, and that's the speed I'm going to give him. It's like that. Kind of like show a mirror to someone. But he would call that condescending, so I don't do that. I don't do that to him. I think I did it once or twice, but then he complained about it, and then I stopped. It's like when you the things you complain about. I'll put it like this: if you bitch and moan about something, it means it's true. It means that you don't want it to be true. You're complaining. When I'm pointing out something like, "Hey, you're trying to insult me," the fucking stupid. It's so stupid. I'm not saying I'm insulted. Wah. I'm saying, why are you trying to insult me? Like, I can see what you're doing. Why? It's not complaining. I'm asking you a question. But for some reason, you hear why, and you, and in your head, I'm saying, what is it I'm saying? I'm saying, um, I'm mad. Don't say that anymore. It's like being asked why you're doing something to you means that person is upset and they want you to stop. That level of logic there, it's just I, how does that work? Where is that? Where's the logic there? To just assume anyone who is saying anything about my behavior is also doing that behavior. How does that? Is it like, oh, for you to have noticed me doing that behavior, you also must be doing it? Is it like that? Because it's like, for example, I don't have to lie to know what a lie is. Sure, I could have lied in the past, but I don't have to be lying right now. I'm murder. I don't have to murder to know what murder is. If I see you stab someone, I don't. I don't. You don't have to say you've murdered people too. And I was like, what? No, I haven't. It's like, oh, well, you killed a bug. That's alive. That's a living creature. So you killed a living being. So you know what it's like to kill a living being, and I'm killing a living being. So you're all murderers here. Like that's the level of logic that you would fall for. The level of logic that you've given, that other people have given, and then you supplement. It's like, again, 3 hours, 4 hours now. Almost 4 hours. 4 hours now of just waiting for you to say something, just anything. Nothing. Gone around the house, done things, ate me some food, played some warships. I was out for a very long time. I didn't even realize that I was texting people, having conversations. I was doing life, living things, doing things. You you were doing what? Please don't tell me you were sitting here in the mic like listening, playing your games maybe. Like I don't know. It's just really weird. I don't get it. So back to the bar thing. So you could try and gaslight the bar owner, and then be like, "Well, you do it too." And then the bar owner could be like, it could go a few ways. One, the bar owner could say, "Yeah, I do it too. I'm allowed to do it. Fuck out of here," and he kicks you out. And then you're like, "Oh, how dare he?" But then you're out of the bar. So now you got the same option as the first two options. So you know, that didn't work. The bartender could be like, "You're right. I do that." And then the bar slowly turns into the type of place that would accept your type of behavior. So you've now changed the bar from what it originally was to now what it is, which means that the people who were there, they're not going to be there any longer. They're going to leave. They don't want a bar that's the behavior that you were bringing in because, well, why the fuck would they? So they leave. And what remains are the ones who behave just like you, or the ones who accept that behavior. So again, we're back to Pinocchio, where you have a Lord of the Flies situation, a bunch of kids who are destroying property, and only the kids who are okay with it are the ones who remain. The ones who don't want their own property destroyed, they don't stay at that place because they don't want their property destroyed. The person in the bar who does not want their drink taken from their hand out of nowhere isn't going to stay there. They're going to say, "Oh, that's a seedy bar. I'm going to go to a different bar." You see people in seedy bars, they all hate each other. They all hate themselves. That's why they're there. They're there to express their hatred and to find someone to you know dish out their hatred on. So you could turn this bar into one of those, but then again, you wouldn't be in that bar. So then again, let's say you try to gaslight the bar owner again. You say, well, you do it too. Then the bar owner, who is like me in this case, says, I don't, you don't know me. That's ridiculous. Please stop doing what you're doing. It's obvious. It's like, please stop. So now you have the next option. Since the bar owner did not fall for your trick saying, hey, you do it too, the next option is to insult the bar owner, to degrade him, to make him feel like shit, to stop him from doing what he can, which is to point out, no, all the mean bullshit that you're trying to spew out at me, it's all nonsense. I don't accept any of it, and I don't really care if other people do, but it's really sad that you're trying to trick other people into believing your nonsense too. If they come at me with the same nonsense, I'll just ask them, well, what makes you think that? And then if they're genuine people, they'll just go, oh, well, because he told me so. And I'll be like, well, ask him why. And then he can tell you why. It's like that. That's all the bar owner has to do, and then his bar stays afloat. His business is still good just by the people who walk up. But the problem is, it's not what's being happening here. See, instead, this is you, Slooch. This is your situation here. I am the bar owner, and I say, hey, your behavior is shit. Stop it. And then you say, you do it too. I say, no, I don't. I'm telling you to stop it, please. This is like, there's no reason for you to do it. It's the next option for you. This is what you're doing. Is to then quietly sit in the corner and drink angrily, just like mauling, seething, drinking, biding your time, waiting, just getting drunk off of your rage, waiting until someone else comes along. And when they come along, that's when you like, and you're a stupid son of a bitch who takes other people's glasses too. Like you come in to say the thing that you were upset at years ago. Like you sit in that bar for 5 years waiting in a corner. Anyone who asks about you, I tell them, oh, he's waiting in that corner because 5 years ago I told him his behavior was shit. So he's been looking for any opportunity he can to just like dig in and try to like jab at me. As soon as someone tries to stab me, he's gonna try to stab me too. He's just waiting there. Don't worry about him. That's me. So then when you come up and like say some bullshit in the comments section, what do? I go, oh, he's doing the thing I said he was gonna do. Right. It's like, okay. Then that's all it is. It's just, okay. It's like, again, going back to Alex Jones, like, looking at the judge, him calling the judge evil, vile, saying that she had flames, lasers coming out of her eyes, bullshit like that. And the judge is just staring at him like, how is this helping your case? This is actually hurting you right now. Why are you doing? You're stand accused of defaming others, and in response you try to defame the judge. The same thing here. It's like, you stand accused of being a bully and harassing people. How do you plea? And then your response is to cry out, you do it too. It's like, well, thank you for admitting you do it, but I don't do it. You must have confused yourself in thinking that I did it too. But, good job, I guess. Because I think 4 hours is good enough. We're 5 minutes away from the 5 hour mark, 4 hour mark. I think 4 hours is a good time. Let me see if my friends have a 6. I guess Damn. Come and gone. I mean, I took the time out of my day to do this with you. Could at least take something else and just yell at me. Get an idiot. Just like, shit, they got 9 people. That's 3 groups. Fuck. I missed my chance. I missed my window. Once it gets past 2 groups, it's so hard to get people in queue. You're just like, guys, can we call? Guys, we've been sitting in queue in port for 20 minutes talking about how we did the last game. Can we please start? It's usually how I'm at in the party, but it's like, man, it's so loud. It's very loud. It's very hard to get things through. So, pork grind. 4 hours though, man. Ever seen the movie Click? Very interesting. That's the scenario you're making for yourself. You should really watch that movie. It's really dumb what you're doing. Like, I'm gonna explain to you what makes it dumb. I'm not just gonna say it's dumb. I'm gonna say you're dumb. I'm gonna say that what you're doing is dumb, and it's for this reason. Dumb by that I mean it runs contrary to what your goal is. So like here's an example. In Click, he wanted to have a happy family and whatnot. So he would skip the parts where he's with his family and he would focus on the parts that he was doing his job. So in the future, when he sees the path that takes him, he understands that, oh, wait a minute. In doing so, it means that my family doesn't spend time with me and then I'm spend all my time at work. It's like you're building up the scenario for the reality you make for yourself. If you're going to be quiet when you enter a party for 4 hours and then pretend that your mic was off or that you weren't there, just understand that the next time you try it, that person's going to remember because you've done this before. That's why I'm saying all these things. It's not that I'm getting this out of nowhere. So just keep that in mind, that it's real life isn't like Charlie Brown, you know? Lucy pulling the ball over and over again, like that shit doesn't happen in real life. No one is Charlie Brown. No one gets tricked by that bullshit repeatedly. Eventually, that person just stops talking with you and they stop hanging out with you and they just don't want to do anything to do with you. Like who wants to talk to someone who doesn't talk? Who wants to spend time with someone who the only things they do talk about when they do talk is to insult you, say derisive things? How does that... Who wants to spend time with someone like that? If you spend your time being rude to someone, you can expect that they will believe you will be rude next time you talk to them. Simple. Very simple. Hope you understand it. Because pretty soon, I'm going to get off of this party. And you'll be forced to learn the lesson. Rather than just, be told the lesson. Because that's the difference. It's like a parent seeing a... what's it called? The parent is like, oh, hey, the stove is hot. And your response to that is to touch the stove. It's like, how many times do I have to tell you that the stove is hot before you stop burning yourself? Eventually, I'm just gonna send you in for psychiatric help and be like, something's wrong with my kid. He keeps thinking that that it's okay to touch a stove after I told him it's hot. It's like you're either gonna learn the lesson from me verbally just telling you the lesson, or you're gonna learn the lesson the hard way, which is, face the consequences of the lesson, which is the burned hand. And your ego is probably telling you, oh, this guy thinks that talking to him is a privilege. It's like, well, it's not about me. It's the fact that you're gonna do this to someone else too. And maybe it's not a privilege to talk to me, but hey, maybe you're talking to someone important, and then you treat them this way, and then what happens? They might not be as nice as me. They might use their position of power against you. It's a very odd thing. Do you like being angry? Do you like hating yourself? Do you hate yourself? My point of view, it looks like you do. And why else would you be doing this over and over again? 16457. 16457s. 16457s, 40% torpedo reduction and 58,300. Meanwhile, the Tennessee sits at 5,200. 16457s at 37%. Yeah, it's like that's a whole salvo right there. The California can survive one salvo on top of the Tennessee. That's not fair. How's that fair? That's pay to win right there. Since you're not there, you don't actually care if I munch onto the mic, right, while I eat my chips? How could you care if you were there, right? Normally I try to mute myself and stuff, but people, but... Oh, me? Being passive aggressive right now? No. I would never. Go, Fubuki, go. Secondary's at 6. I'm close enough to the Arizona. Yeah, dodge those. Easiest dodge in my life. Dodging those torps easier than Matt dodges questions. Ho! No.
Torpedo protection! Save me. He's running. Keep running. Sing it for the world, sing it for the girls, sing it out. Nice shot. Holy shit, good shot. Time to ram. Game is over. Come here, Tennessee. I'm ramming that ass. I plowed that one. Time to ram this one. What type of ship is left? Icarus? Icarus. Nah, he can't carry. We good. How many do you see? 10. Oh shit, he might carry. Icarus is carrying. I can't tell. Is this man giving up? So, what I'm trying to say is, the behavior you take, you're going to reflect how you act in the future. So if you get into a party with me, you insult me, you stop talking for like 4 hours, I leave the party. Next time I make a party and you join in, and I'm not going to wait 4 hours for you to talk. I'm going to wait probably like 5 minutes and be like, oh, okay, done. He left. Whatever you want to call it. And then after that, if you do the same thing the third time you join, I'm not even going to wait 5 minutes. I'm just going to point out, hey, you're going to do the same thing you did the last time you joined, which is exactly what I did this time. I pointed out you're probably just going to be quiet the whole time and not say anything. You're never going to answer the question, because that's what you did last time. It's like, why are you doing the same things over and over again? Like, what result are you expecting to get out of this?
Are you thinking you're gonna win something? Or maybe did you think you were losing something by not doing it? I'm just so confused because the only way I see it is you must see it like a game, or like a win-lose type of scenario. And me, I'm just like, what? I'm still trying to understand like what you're doing. That's the terrible part about the game you're playing. It's that just asking you why you're doing it, that alone ruins the game for you. That alone is like devastating. How many years? 5 years? 4 years? 4 years of seething, getting upset at everyone. How's it gotten you? Gotten you far? How has harassing people online, calling them names whenever you don't like them, how does that benefit you? Hmm? Have you learned anything new? Or instead, has it caused those people to stop talking with you? Or the ones who didn't stop talking with you, did it somehow hurt them? Did it cause them to stop talking to you in the way that they used to? Or instead, does attacking people not give them motivation to attack you back? In fact, to defend themselves? I think that if you truly felt that I was, attacking you or a hypocrite or something like that, you would show it because, oh man, if I actually did something like that, you would be posting it all over the place, complaining, whining about it. Like, look at him, he's a hypocrite. But you don't. Same thing with Matt. He accused me of shit. When I asked him for proof, like, why are you saying this? What do you mean? Where are you getting these ideas from? The best response he's got is, let me see if I can quote him correctly. I don't remember the exact words. It was something like, when I drink, I get bored, and I enjoy... He likes the way he feels when he bothers people, when he harasses them. When he tells himself, I've harassed you. It makes him feel better. He feels like shit. The guy is just screaming for help. But the problem is, crying for help doesn't mean you'll get help if the way you're crying for help is a toxic manner that pushes others away. That's his problem. He's so toxic. And you is just, I don't know. That ego. Whew. How many years has it been, man? And you're still on about the AI thing. Because it has nothing to do with the AI thing. Because you were just dead ass wrong on that. You started calling a calculator an AI. And I'm like, okay, let's use those words. Is it a virtual AI or is it a sentient AI? Because that's their words that they use too. Artificial AI and what's the other word? Analog? I forgot the other word. So then when I asked you to be more specific and you were forced to admit that it wasn't sentient and it's not a real AI, you refused to answer the question. There was someone there with us too. I forgot his name. But he was he wasn't laughing. It's hard to explain this. He was laughing at what you were doing. Probably laughing at you too. Maybe that made you feel bad, but I wasn't laughing at you. I was laughing because what you were saying was hilarious. The fact that you could not bring yourself to admit that a calculator was not an AI, that I found hilarious. That your ego was that sensitive that you could not just say, okay, yeah, I was wrong about that. A calculator isn't an AI, but and then you could go on and talk about what you think an AI is, and that would have been fine. But instead of doing that, you've been sitting in a corner drinking at the bar, waiting for the right time to pounce. And every single time you've pounced, it's been the dumbest shit. Like I want you, please. If I say something wrong or if I say something undue, go ahead. I want you to be there to point it out. But so far, you haven't done any of that. You've just been a whiny kid. Just wah. He Tsukiyome bad. Fruit bad. He dumb. He don't understand me. It's like, oh, the grammar you're using, it's not that I don't understand you, it's that I'm correcting it because it's not you don't understand me, it's you do not. It's like as simple as that. Just telling you to write do not instead of don't, that's enough to set you off. It's like all the other people on here, it's like snowflakes. This petty, petulant, and just what's the word? Sensitive. That's the best. That's the right word. You, Matt, and all the other people on here, you're just so sensitive that anyone even rubs up against you and you get set off. You go off on your script. I don't know. I think this is enough time, man. I'm tired. This has been 4 hours of listening to birds in the port of you not doing shit. Just all right. Hopefully next time you say more than just derisive and insulting comments.